This is IED Activity 5.5b, CAD Model Features Part 2, problem number 4. Problem number 4 is the loft function on the block here. So we will be lofting this part out, making this wedged V shape. So let's go ahead and get into Inventor so we can get started. We're going to start a new sketch on the XY plane. And in doing so, there's the wedge that we're going to be creating. We're going to start with a rectangle that's 2.5 inches wide by 1.5 inches high and extrude it 1.5 inches deep. So we'll grab our rectangle tool. We'll start to create this 2.5 by 1.5. We'll hit enter. I'll hit my home view, finish that sketch, and extrude it 1.5 inches. They actually show it going backwards, so we'll go ahead and do that. Match theirs and click OK. At this point, we're going to start a new 2D sketch on the front surface here. We're going to move quickly through this activity. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to move my box down here where I can see it, get my line tool. I'm going to click outside my lines here just to show you a little something. And I made a mistake. I believe I made that perpendicular, so I'm going to escape and undo that last line and do it again. I do not want it to be perpendicular. Press escape now. So I've got my V shape. I need to constrain it a little bit, so I'm going to use my coincident constraint. Click on the end point and then that line, and do the same thing on the opposite side, the end point and that line. Then I'm going to grab my dimension constraints. I'm going to grab the bottom of the V and the bottom line here, and that's going to be 0.25 on this front surface. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to grab the left point of the line and the left edge of my object, my block. Click there, and I'm just going to go down, and because these are all going to be the same, I'll click on that dimension and it will make it automatically match. And same thing on the right line and the right edge. Bring that up, move this over a little bit, click there, and I'm going to make that also equal to that 2.5 dimension right there, so they're all the same. Now, they're all the right heights. The only thing I have left is these two lines need to be equal to each other in length, so I'll click equals, and that squares them up and locks them in place. And this is not a right angle, so that's why I had to take the perpendicular constraint off of there. I'll finish my sketch, rotate around to the back side, right click on this surface and start another sketch, another new sketch. And this time we're going to do this object, or this view here. I'll zoom in a little bit so we can see that a little more. So we're going to be 1/2 inch on each side and 3/4 inch coming up. Same thing, I'll use my line tool. If I can get on that line, great. If I can't, I don't care. I'm just going to draw mine down here. I find I have a little more control this way, and again, I want to avoid the perpendicular constraint. Press escape twice to get out of that. I'm going to use my coincident constraint to make sure it is on my line at the top, because that is where I want it to be. And now I'll use my dimension constraint. From the left point to the left edge is going to be 0.5. From the right point to the right edge is going to be the same. So I'll make those two equal to each other by using that as the dimension. The bottom that point though is different. It is 0.75. Make my lines equal to each other, and that one is constrained also. At this point I'll finish my sketch, go to my home view, and I'm ready to do the lofting feature. The lofting feature requires we do a couple things. First, we're going to add a sketch, so I'm going to select this sketch, clicking on that, and then I want to click in the actual triangle that is going to be my wedge. So that was a 2-click process. At first I clicked the point, and then I clicked the area of the wedge. So that I actually was clicking and selecting the surface, and then that feature is the wedge of that surface. Next, I'm going to flip around to the back side. Going to add another sketch. Again, I'll click on the point here, and then the actual wedge opening. And this is a cut So you'll see it shows the arrow that's going to go up and cut. Cut is the second one down. I'll click OK. And my loft is completed. Click my home view. You'll see it lofted that out quite easily. And that's all there is to it. So please save this one as Loft and your initials.